YouTube. So I wanted to talk to you today about what travel means in 2022. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I've had quite a few people in my DMs and messaging me talking about their plans, and it's so exciting to finally see that after 2 years of uncertainty with travel and kind of trying to squeeze in a last minute trip here, and then all of the drama with PCR tests and everything like that, I feel like this is the first time that we've really started to see sort of like a clear opening and a clearing when it comes to traveling this year. So I wanted to talk to you about my experiences with traveling and I guess why travel means so much to me. So I have always had a bit of a travel bug, which is why I've got the online community Travelex UK. I'm literally addicted to traveling. There's worse things to be addicted to, so I'm definitely grateful that this is my form of addiction. So in terms of travel and lifestyle, I've traveled in every sort of way. So obviously I was fortunate enough to travel a little bit as a kid. I've traveled with work, so I worked on cruise ships, I worked in holiday resorts abroad, I worked for theme parks, obviously Disney, so they gave me a good opportunity to live in a different location, travel, meet new people and work. I've also travelled in luxury, so definitely pushed my overdraft to the limits, but I was able to travel in luxury, and some of the luxury places I've been to are sort of Atlantis, Dubai, like very, very fancy. I've also been on safari, which is a very, very unique and beautiful experience. We stayed in it was a place called Hamilton's Tented Lodge. It was so beautiful. There were only about 8 lodges that were there. The food was delicious, like the people just couldn't do enough for you. So it was such an amazing level of luxury that I've just never experienced. I've also had party luxury, so Vegas, Cosmopolitan, done all of that style of traveling. And then the ultimate style of traveling, which is backpacking and hostels and shared spaces. So if I take a step back and actually look at all of the different ways I've traveled, they've all played a massive part in my my desire to travel and travel in different ways. Now the great thing is that by having all of these different experiences, it became clear to me that it wasn't necessarily the job or the place or the destination that was the most important thing. It was always just that feeling of trying something new, being in an unfamiliar environment and meeting other people that are in the same kind of boat. Because when we do stay at home, when we stay in our comfort zone, it's very unlikely that we're going to meet people that can kind of, I guess, confirm that we're not aliens by wanting to go out and travel the world. It was really interesting actually, because until I started traveling, until I started working and traveling and meeting new people, I was always under the impression that what I wanted out of life, which was, excessive travel and, going to the ends of the earth and really, really unique, quirky experiences, I was under the impression that what I wanted was unachievable, unobtainable, and just unrealistic. And that was purely because a lot of the people that were in my network and in my world at the time, it just wasn't on the radar for them. It just wasn't something that they wanted and that they saw as a normal lifestyle. However, when I then started working in these places, I was then exposed to a whole new network of people who that was their life, that was their way of living. And they were like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like, yeah, we spent the last 2 years here and I'm going to go and do this season abroad next year and I'm going to do this. So it really started to open up that sort of tunnel vision lifestyle that I had in my mind. And then not only that, when I went to the extreme and I started doing the hostels and the backpacking, this was very different because up until that point, I'd always worked in places where I had a job that took me abroad. So I was technically hired in the UK, got all my contracts, everything was set. And then I would be flown out to, go work on the ships or go work in a different resort in Greece or Turkey. And then I was flown back home. So I had that safety net with these other types of travel. However, when it came to literally getting a work and holiday visa and going to Australia and then just figuring it out, that was a whole new level of things that I then started to get exposure to, because it meant that I met other people who had taken the equal amount of risks that I had, left everything behind, uncertain, starting from scratch. Okay, I've got a backpack and that's all I've got with me. And that teaches you so much about what's normal. And I think that a lot of the reason that people don't necessarily continue with their goals, or I guess continue with their goals with true belief that it can happen, is a lot about who they surround themselves with on the way to their goals. you guys will know that being around people that are working towards a common goal, a common mission, anything that it is, you know, there's a reason why you're all studying the same course at university in that class, because being around other people that are, you know, that are in the same boat as you, it means that you understand that actually this is normal to be doing all of this coursework, and it's normal to be doing this presentation, it's normal to be doing this essay. But actually there's people outside of that course that would be like, whoa, I could not do that. And then that doubt that you would feel from all of these other people who aren't doing the thing that you're doing can actually then impact you. So much the same if you're working towards your own business, your own brand, your own career, it's really important to try and find other people that are on a similar journey. Now be careful with this, because what I've seen is a lot of people that then find people that are doing exactly the same as them, direct competitors, same area, same location, same business, same style. That can be an issue, because when you do that, this is where comparison comes into play. This is where self-doubt, jealousy, or fear of not doing enough, or fear that they're so much further ahead can also come into play. So what I actually think is a really powerful way to work with people is working with people that are working towards a common goal, but a goal of their own, but in a similar sort of way. So for example, the clients that I work with them, they all have different businesses, they all have different brands and different areas that they're focusing on, different audiences. However, they're all working on, how can I improve my visibility online? How can I get more engagement? How can I make sure that I never run out of content ideas? How can I get more creative with my content? How can I feel confident on camera? All of those things. But the great news is they're not necessarily direct competitors of each other. So they're working together towards the same goal, cheering each other on, but they don't feel that element of, oh my goodness, she's so much better than me, she's this, she's that, because it's completely different realms, completely different audiences. So I would always say that being in an environment and immersing yourself into an environment can truly make the difference between what becomes reality and what becomes normal for you. So if you are someone who wants to travel, who wants to see the world, but the people that you're surrounding yourself with at the moment aren't necessarily travelers, they don't necessarily have the same desire, then that can actually play a part in whether you go or not. What I would encourage you to do is get into different groups, whether that's going to be starting online first. So you can always start digitally. There's a group for everything online, guys. It's like there's an app for everything. There's a group for everything. You can immerse yourself into an online community that want to travel, an online community where people are already traveling, a community where people have tips on how to travel better. And, you know, for beginners, how do I travel as a beginner? How do I find the right kind of thing to do? Immerse yourself into that community. And the great thing is that you're surrounding yourself with other people that are working towards that common goal. What you'll then find is when you do eventually take that leap, and when you do eventually get out there, a whole new world is going to open up for you, because you're going to be around people, particularly if you're staying in hostels or long-term stay apartments, things like that. You're going to be around other people that are literally in the same boat as you. It was the same when I moved to London. When I moved to London, I was like, oh my goodness, no one's moving to London, it's just me, what's going on? When I got to London, hardly anyone that I made friends with in London, that I lived with, that I shared accommodation with, was from London. Everyone was moving there. So of course it felt very, very normal to me that this was just what you do. This was just what was done. Whereas if I did stay in an environment where that wasn't the norm, it would have made it feel so much more overwhelming, much more scary for me to take that leap. So if you are sitting on the fence when it comes to travel, start small, start immersing yourself in these online communities. Some of the best things that have ever happened to me have happened in different countries, different locations, different destinations. And the lifelong friends that you can meet through traveling and through having these experiences can play a massive part in the course of your life. Some of my friends that I've made now through traveling, I've been to their weddings, I've seen their babies be born, I've always got invitations to go to the other side of the world. And some of the trips that I have had, I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't have a host or somebody to look after me when I was there, because it meant that I was able to get accommodation. It meant that they were able to kind of show me the best way to get the best experiences without me spending a fortune on tour guides. So honestly, guys, there is a whole nother world out there. So as I said, travel in 2022 is going to be huge, and I can already feel the excitement building. I can already feel people saying, where are we going, what's going on, what month are we going away? I've got 3 trips booked, I've got 1 trip booked, I've got one that I definitely want to do that got cancelled 2 years ago. So there's so much excitement around it. So if you are in a position that you're like, this is my year, I want to travel, I would highly encourage you to start surrounding yourself with people that want to travel. If you're not already in my travel community, Travelholics UK, I'll drop the link below so that you can join the community and make sure you've got access to things. I've got some really, really exciting things up my sleeves for the community, and I nearly said it then. I've got some really exciting things up my sleeves that I want to share with you in the community in the coming weeks and months and all throughout 2022. So definitely make sure that you are embedded in that community. Also, if you've got ideas and tips and things that you want to share, that's going to be a good place for you to do that as well. Travel in 2022 is going to be good. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an opportunity for you to connect with people that for the past 2 years have probably been thinking, oh, I'd love to travel, love to travel, love to travel. And they've just gone, right, you know what? I have waited long enough now, I'm gonna go for it. So definitely embrace every second that you've got when it comes to this opportunity and seeing life return back to some sort of normality throughout 2022. If you've got any questions about traveling, where to go, how to start, hot tips, things like that, just drop me a message. Always happy to help, my DMs are always open. But have an amazing rest of your day and happy travels for 2022. Speak soon, bye.